Hey y'all, IrixGuy's here. Welcome back to another live show. I'm checking my camera equipment here and let me reposition my camera. There we go. Looking good. I got some lighting out here and it is all solar LED lighting. So the lights that you see here on my fine deck here at the Appalachian Ocean, it's all solar powered. So meaning that the sun charges the batteries inside those things on top of the post. And then when it gets dark, the light sensor kicks it on. And I've got all of this out here. All of this ambient lighting that you see is solar. And I've got some solar lights behind me. And then I've actually got a couple of traditional LED lights, which are highly energy efficient. And those are running as well. But check out my separate videos about my solar LED lighting because I love solar and I love LED lighting. But anyway, we're going to jump right in. I've got a lot of things tonight, and we will be feeding raccoons. George Cooney and crew, they're down there. They're getting hungry. They're like, man, throw me some food, bro. So we're going to have that, but we're going to talk about the DJI Mini 4 Pro, which is without a doubt, and I can say this confidently, the best drone on the market today. Today being October the 6th in the United States of America. So best drone on the market today, in my opinion. Jake is here, a long-time subscriber, long-time supporter. Are Maya, McKenna, and Katie here with you tonight? Or are you flying solo, Jake? Tell us. Tell the community here. Now, something I am going to do is I'm going to fire up that grill over there because I got to eat, man. I don't go out to eat. Too expensive, and it's not healthy. See, I got to lose weight. I got fat, but I'm getting less fat because I cook. I'm going to fire this sucker up. Be right back over there, the camera. Start it with electricity. That way I don't have to deal with the chemicals and I don't have to deal with lighter fluid, already added charcoal. So it's more convenient. It's better, in my opinion. You know, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a politician. But I feel that it's better to light it using electricity. Hey, George Cooney and crew. Okay, they're down there. They're like, dude, send us the food. We're going to send them the food in a minute. I've got a bowl of miscellaneous scraps. So George Cooney and crew are going to be exceptionally well fed tonight. And my wife will be too, because I fired up the grill and I've got steak burgers. So it's a burger, except it's not made out of ground chuck or ground beef. It's a butcher shop, and what they do, they trim the steaks, they get the fat and the unwanted pieces off of the steak, and then they grind it up and make hamburger patties out of it. And that's what it is, steak burger. Jake says, yes, Katie is with me. And so are my two adopted daughters, Bree and Lily. I rescued them from a structure fire. Unfortunately, the mother passed away on arrival to the hospital. Oh, man, that's horrible. So, Jake, tell the viewers that may not have been on a live show with you before, tell the viewers about yourself if you want to, your profession, you know, what you do, and kind of give them a background. And while he's typing that, I will say that Jake is famous for introducing me, and not just me, but all the viewers that were on the live streams, to the Terry Peppers foghorn video. If you've never seen the Terry Peppers foghorn video, it'll change your life. It's phenomenal. So search for Terry Peppers foghorn video. Very cool. And that came to us from Jake. Jake is who introduced us to the Terry Peppers foghorn video. You'll start to see some smoke coming out of that sucker over there in a little bit. So I'm using lump charcoal. Actually, I'm using a charcoal brand. It's called Meathead Charcoal. So Meathead Charcoal, it's a South American wood. It's made out of this wood called quebracho. So I'm going to be cooking back there on quebracho, bro. It burns a little bit cooler. Not necessarily cooler, but it burns longer than traditional charcoal. And that quebracho wood has a very unique flavor profile. So whether you're doing burgers like I'm doing tonight, steak burgers, you're doing a steak, you're doing chicken, pork chops, fish, vegetables, it'll impart a very unique flavor profile. And people will be like, man, what kind of stuff did you marinate this with? And it's like, well, marinate it with this, but it's not the marinade you're tasting. It's probably the flavor profile that the type of wood has imparted within the meat. Jake says, and Maya and McKenna are back in the U.S. at school. They are my biological sisters. They live in the USA with my biological mother. And Jake says, I'm a volunteer firefighter for a Frontenac Fire Rescue here in Ontario, Canada. Very, very cool. Jake's a cool dude, man. Been a long-time supporter and viewer of the channel. This right here is the remote for the DJI Mini 4 Pro. And, here on the bottom, you got the little controller knob doohickeys. I keep them stored in there while it's not in use. Actually, I opted for the one without the screen this time. Nothing wrong with the one with the screen. I had a lot of viewers are like, man, why did you not get the Mini 4 Pro with the integrated screen in the controller? Not that it's bad. There's nothing wrong with it. But I just gotten the iPhone 15 Pro, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get a controller where I can just pop this sucker up and stick my iPhone 15 Pro in there and use it instead of an integrated screen. Save a little bit of quid or a little bit of bucks, wherever you're coming from, whatever you want to call money. But either option is really good. It's a very nice controller. If you've used DJI products before, especially the more current DJI drones, the controller just has a premium feel. I'll go as far as to say, and I'm not trying to overly embellish how it feels, but once you feel it in your hands, you will probably pick up a popular video game console controller, like a PlayStation or an Xbox. You're like, man, this feels cheap after handling this. That's how good it feels in your hands. And that's important because this is your virtual cockpit when you're flying that drone, and you need something that feels reassuring, something that's durable, something that's precise. So I really like it. And again, I didn't get the one with the screen. You may, check out my website, epicdroneshow.com or IrixGuy.com, take you to the same place, and then you can click buy a drone. You can find all the bundles there. But it's a very nice drone. And actually, I suffered a minor injury. I was out in the field flying drones, and I had a drone-related accident. And basically what I did, I pulled something in my side. This was a few days ago. So even though I've been releasing DJI Mini 4 Pro drone videos daily, I haven't been filming more, and I'm about to tomorrow because I just pulled something and it I was doing the drone video and it hurt, man. So I had a drone related injury. Nobody else was hurt, just myself. And Jake says, you only get to see my sisters in the summer, but Bree and Lily, my daughters, will be the accompanying me along with my wonderful girlfriend, Katie. And Jake says, you know what Bree loves to do. She likes to smack me with her hair in a ponytail, but I don't mind it unless she gets me in the eyes. My sisters do it all too. So does Katie. Can't have her short hair a bit. That's what Jake's saying. So very cool. But yeah, Mini 4 Pro controller, whether you go without the screen or you get the integrated screen, it's a great option. And the drone itself, I mean, look at how small. And when you hold this in your hands, unless you're holding it, you can't appreciate how small and lightweight it is. But I mean, super small, super lightweight. I'm going to give it the pinky test. I'm holding it with my pinky. And look, when I unzip this, there she is, DJI Mini 4 Pro. Now, you'll notice I don't have the propeller protector on it, and I'm going to do a video of that at the time of hosting this live stream. I don't have it, but there's a piece that comes with it that you can attach, and it better prevents the propellers from flopping around while it's not in use. DJI has done a phenomenal job with improving the camera and gimbal guard. Even out here in poor light, it's easy to pop off. Even out here in poor light, it's easy to pop back on. And I don't feel like I'm going to intentionally make contact with the camera and or gimbal while I'm detaching and reattaching the camera and gimbal guard. So DJI has done a really good job with that. Now, why they made this transparent and why it's kind of a light gray color, if you've watched my DJI Mini 4 Pro videos, You probably heard me complain. If I was DJI, I would make this a bright orange, a bright pink, a bright yellow, a bright red, just a very bright color that's not transparent. So number one, that the operator of the drone would see it and be like, maybe I should take that off before I fly. And if they don't see it, then they fire up the camera on the drone. Why can't I see anything with the camera? Well, maybe I need to take the camera and gimbal guard off. The way that this is colored, it's problematic because it could make people assume that, oh, maybe I should fly with that. No, you shouldn't. You should not fly with the camera and gimbal guard on. So if they made it to where it was brightly colored, number one, it would be easy to forget. I mean, it'd be less challenging to forget because you'd see it before you take off with your drone. And then number two, it wouldn't be transparent, so your camera wouldn't work. So it'd be, two things. And then also when you take this off, if you just throw it in the grass beside your drone, this is going to be easier to lose because of the color. If it was a brightly colored camera and gimbal guard, you probably wouldn't lose it. You'd be like, ooh, I forgot to put my camera guard back on when you finish flying and pack up and go. So, yeah, I mean, this is the without a doubt best drone on the market today, and I'm not just saying that because it's the newest. If you've been a subscriber to my channel for a while, you know that I've always preached since day one for me being DJI Phantom 1. And I didn't start with the DJI Phantom 1 until Phantom 2 had already been released because I was too afraid to adopt drones when Phantom 1 released because I felt like, oh, they're too expensive. I'm going to take off and I'm going to crash and that's money wasted. The reality is, after I touched the first drone, the Phantom 1, I immediately knew that, hey, I've got to go to Phantom 2 and beyond at that point because it was such a very reassuring flying experience. Unlike traditional RC aircraft, radio-controlled aircraft, you had confidence, and I had confidence that I could land and not, lose my investment. And that's what led to my addiction to drones. I mean, I got addicted to these things, man. Check out subscribe and check out my thousands of drone videos. I mean, it created an obsession. Now, admittedly, of the more recent drones, I haven't purchased all of the more recent drones because, I've got certain criteria that I look for, and what I'm looking for in a drone is very small, very lightweight, very portable, very convenient, yet still something that has a current camera technology attached to it. This is 4K camera, man. It's good. It's on the gimbal, very good quality. I don't need something that's huge like an Inspire. Ooh, I got the Inspire, man. It's too big. It's too heavy. I don't need a big drone. I need something small and lightweight. Something I can stick my USB-C in the rear of it and charge it while it's in my studio, while I'm driving my car, while I'm driving my boat, while I'm driving my ATV, while I'm driving my golf cart. I can recharge this with USB-C. Maybe I don't have access to any of those vehicles. I can plug it into a solar USB battery bank and recharge my Mini 4 Pro off the grid using the energy from the sun. How cool is that? So, DJI has come a long way, and I hope that DJI's direction does not change because a smaller, lighter, and more capable drone has been my ask since the Phantom 1. And they're delivering now. And I mean, this runs circles around the Phantom 1. And when the Phantom 1 came out, it was it was a cat's meow. Wow. It was the best drone on the market. There was nothing that could come close. There wasn't. But like most any product, people further and further refine the technology. And that's what we're seeing right here in my paws is the DJI Mini 4 Pro. This is DJI's latest example of perfection when it comes to an aerial camera. And even if you don't care about the camera aspects of it, it's a great hobby. You're going to start seeing that grill back there fire up here in a minute, man. I got that electric charcoal lighter in there. And Jake says, I honestly prefer my military drones. I just recently got one of the DJI Maverick drone bombers, and wow, whoo. Oh, okay. He's now just to clarify the comments. He's clarifying deactivated, of course. So Jake's in he's in a very cool role where he gets access to cool stuff. So this right here is obviously a civilian drone. This is a DJI Mini 4 Pro, and you can go to epicdroneshow.com and click buy drone and find it there. And Jake says he's a weapon collector. Very cool. Everybody's got their hobbies, and that's what's awesome is that we can choose to do what we want to do. I've got a ton of hobbies that I don't showcase on YouTube just because I just don't. But yeah, look at that. Look at those propellers. And the propeller quality of this thing is phenomenal. I mean, you look at this, you're like, man, those propellers are so small and so lightweight, but they're very durable. And they've got a little bitty, I mean, it's dark out here, but there's a little bitty screwdriver that if you ever break a propeller, they're easy to replace using that tiny screwdriver. So again, DJI has done an absolutely phenomenal job with further enhancing their already fantastic drone, that being the Mini series. So this is DJI Mini 4 Pro. Like I said, tomorrow morning I'm going to get my butt back in the field. I'm going to get my butt back in the field down here at the Appalachian Ocean. Get my butt back in the field. I'm going to get back in the field. I'm going to film some more DJI Mini 4 Pro videos because I'm not just saying this is the best drone on the market today. I'm going to be showing you why, without any question, why this is the best drone on the market today. Did you see that? There was a thumbs up. It appeared like a bubble over there beside my grill. I've never seen that, man. I don't know if y'all saw that in the viewers view, but that was super cool. It was a little bubble. It had a thumbs up over there beside the grill. You see that smoke coming out of the grill now, man. That Quebracho, bro. Quebracho wood, meathead charcoal. Go to meatheadcharcoal.com and you can find where to order it. But it's a very premium and sophisticated lump charcoal. So it's got a different flavor profile. It's not a mesquite. It's not a hickory. It's not a cherry. It's not a maple. It's not an oak. It's not pecan. It's completely different. It's not applewood. It's got a completely different flavor profile. But I've used it on beef. I've used it on chicken. I've used it on seafood. I've used it on pork. And it's a very awesome flavor profile that it adds to whatever you're grilling. And it's a slow burning wood. So actually some of that charcoal that's in there now was from a previous cook, and I'm reusing it because it didn't all burn up. See, look at that smoke over there, man, coming from that in that light. You can see that smoke. That's Quebracho smoke, man. Awesome, man. Let's see. I'm going to get up and check. Speaking of, what about these raccoons, man? We got George Cooney and crew, bro. We got to check on them, man. Hey, George Cooney. See, what I will have to do is get a flashlight because we can't move this camera equipment over there to the raccoon area until you're able to see the raccoons. So let me get the flashlight, and I will do a raccoon reconnaissance mission. I'll look for the raccoons, and then I'll bring the bowl of miscellaneous scraps, and we'll feed the raccoons on camera. Feel free to super chat if you want to. Not required, but George Cooney and crew and myself appreciate it. Ooh. Look at that smoke from that grill, man. That's quebracho, bro. Quebracho wood. We're going to go find the raccoons, man. Let's see. We're going to move the camera over there, too. And then I'll bring out the bowl of miscellaneous scraps. Hey, George Cooney. Checking my solar lighting, making sure I don't have any solar lights that need to be repaired. A negatory, a negative, Captain. All the solar lights are burning. Solar, such a great thing because the sun, you know, this planet we're on right now called the Earth, it moves around in a circle. So it just kind of twists around. And then when it gets to a certain point, that big star called the sun, you can see it shining. That's called daytime. And when it's daylight, the sunlight, if you've got solar panels like I do, and see, look at this. See, when I shine on that, it'll go out because it thinks it's daylight because of the brightness. But using solar panels is so cool because you're not paying electricity. You know, you got the overhead. It's the purchase of the device. In this case, solar post lights, and then the lights I've got down in George County, the raccoons area. But once you paid for the equipment, the sun's recharging it. So it's pretty cool. And it's good for the environment. It's better for the environment. So, I mean, that's an important thing. Check out my solar LED light videos. But we're going to get this bowl of miscellaneous scraps for George Cooney. Actually, before I do, what we're going to do is we're going to get this quebracho wood over there on that grill. Look at that. Look at all that smoke, man. Look at that. It's going to be good. And see, George Cooney and crew, they're like, man, where's my food? Where's my food, man? Because they smell that, and they're like, man, why are y'all cooking and you don't have our food yet? Well, I'm always considerate. I've got a bowl of miscellaneous scraps ready so that George Cooney and crew actually get to eat before my wife and I do. So actually, he's in a better position than we are because we got to wait to eat. You know, he gets to go ahead and eat. Now, he gets a bowl of miscellaneous scraps, and we get steak burgers. So it's a little bit, we get a more premium dining experience, but he still gets, well, he gets free food. He doesn't have to buy it. So that's pretty cool. But look at all that. That's quebracho wood smoke. If you could just smell that. It's got a very delicious flavor profile. Oh, man, look at that. Okay, that's flaming up. I'm going to unplug my electric charcoal starter. Making sure it's not making contact with the electric charcoal starter. It's not. Just doing a reconnaissance mission, looking for George Cooney, the raccoon, and crew, giving them a sufficient heads up that the bowl of miscellaneous scraps is about to be delivered. I'm going to give that a minute because I want the coals on the top to catch before I remove the charcoal lighter from the bottom. Now, I did unplug the charcoal lighter because you don't want to run something like that too long because the heating element could potentially damage it. But I'm going to wait just a second before I pull it out of there and let the meathead charcoal descend into the grill. Actually, it's burning great, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. This is very hot, so you don't want to put it down anywhere that it could burn or damage. So I'm hanging it over that. And now I'm going to put my searing grate on. Even though I'm just doing steak burgers, it's good to sear them. Make sure it's properly inserted. It is. I'm going to give it a good brushing with my bristle-free brush. You don't want to use a brush where those bristles can come off. It's actually very dangerous. So this is a shed-free grill cleaning brush. Super clean. Is ready for the burgers. I'm going to put the burgers on, and then we're going to feed George Cooney, the raccoon and crew, the most famous raccoon on the internet. I shall return in a moment. Be patient, please. Is steak burgers. All that is Worcestershire soy sauce, a little bit of garlic powder, and pub burger seasoning. Marinated in the fridge for a few hours. Put these suckers over there on that quebracho charcoal. Oh, yeah. Huge steak burgers. They don't shrink much. I got one for me, one for my wife, and then one for breakfast. Got to be a boss. I'll be right back. Get that good sear, man. Let those flame grill for just a minute. Niner says, what I miss was telling my wife about marinated burgers. Got to make me some. Yes, sir. Niner. Long time. Hold on one second. See, I got this flame. This is flame grilled, man. Cast iron grates. Got that flame grill. And that's all those juices from the burger. Dripping through the searing grates. The cast iron searing grates. I'm going to let them sear for just a moment, and I'm going to flip them. You don't want to flip your burgers prematurely, especially steak burgers, because even when they're properly pattied, they can fall apart. So I want to sear them a little bit on the outside and then do the first flip. And when you flip, it's a very confident and boom. You know, get that spatula in there. Don't just do this. Do very sudden motion. I will demonstrate. Did not let any of the burger come off. Now I'm going to sear the other side for a moment. And this is also serving a dual purpose. This is adding more excitement in the minds of the raccoons, George Cooney and crew, because they're like, man, I smell those steak burgers. Wonder what we get for dinner. Well, they don't get steak burgers because there won't be any scraps, because 100% of it's edible, but they're going to have a good dinner. And yeah, Niner is so Niner. What you wearing on the wrist? You wearing a Parmigiani, or are you wearing something else? I'm just wearing an Apple Fitness tracker. That's all I got on. Is Apple Fitness tracker. But I was wearing the Breitling Super Ocean Heritage 2 42 millimeter blue with the Tudor, the Chuda movement. That's what I wore today. So good to have you here, Niner. Hey, did you ever get your pint glass situation sorted out? Niner ordered the George Cooney, the raccoon pint glass, and you can find that within my store. And had a little delivery issue, but I hope he got it sorted out, because I need to get myself a George Cooney pint glass. I'm using a naked pint glass tonight. I don't have anything on it. Good deal. I was worried about that, man. Niner sent me an email. I'm like, man, I'm worried. I got to make sure he gets the George Cooney, the raccoon pint glass. That would be catastrophic. See, what I'm going to do now is put this lid on, because I don't want the heat. I want to sear. You know, when I'm doing a steak burger, and, you know, again, in the mind of a professional chef versus a hobbyist, it's a little bit different. But as a professional chef, you want that quick and hot sear, because what you're doing, you're locking in the flavors, you're locking in the juices. But also you're adding that very nice texture on the outside, the exterior of the burger. You don't want to burn it, but you do want to lock in the flavors. You want the texture. And as you noticed, I put the lid on the grill because now I've seared. I seared the first side. I seared this side. The lid on the grill is causing the flames to die down. So now it's just a very nice heat to just cook those burgers to perfection. So while they're cooking, you can see all that smoke. And again, that's quebracho. Quebracho, bro. Quebracho smoke. South American wood. So it's hitting those burgers with that unique tasting, and unique is in a good way, unique and delicious flavor profile that this exotic South American wood brings to the table. And again, that's Meathead Charcoal. So go to meatheadcharcoal.com, meatheadcharcoal.com, and you can order it. Very good lump charcoal. I would be curious if you order it, if you've had anything that tastes similar. Whoa, Niner super chat. Wow. Niner says, get the Cooney crew some dessert on me. Well, you know what? Now, my wife didn't make a chocolate pie or an apple pie, but I do have one of those frozen pies in the freezer. So I'm going to have to bust that out, enjoy some of that, and then dribble some down for George Cooney and crew. Madly appreciated, man. That is awesome. If everybody's watching, you saw Niner, he sent a super chat, and that's something you can choose to do. You click the super chat button within your YouTube interface, and you can choose to send me a super chat like Niner did. That's awesome. Great way to support the channel. And there's no, you don't have to support the channel, but when people do, especially like Niner, I mean, he's been overly generous, which is awesome. It really helps me to pump out more content, and that's deeply appreciated. So let's see where George Cooney and crew are, because I got to get that bowl of miscellaneous scraps. Let's see. Niner says, "Hi, gotta love a good Sally Fields." There you go, man. Look at that. Oh, whatever that store pie. That's one of them. This is there's Sara Lee, there's Edwards pie. The one I got was Edwards pie. They're not bad. I mean, it's sugar and crust and sugar pretty much, but I like it. The raccoons will like it. We're about to feed George Cooney. I'm gonna flip these. Oh man, look at all that smoke. Oh man, that's gonna be good. Mmm. Just the aroma. Mmm. So we're gonna get. Let's see. Let me get the bowl of miscellaneous scraps, and we're gonna move the camera. So this is the bowl of miscellaneous scraps that's been accumulating throughout the day. We got these little bitty tomatoes. We got some apple slices, some waffle fries, some carrots, some grapes, strawberries. George Cooney and crew are really going to enjoy this. So let's go ahead and let's get this ready for George Cooney and crew. Now, me going over to the rail and throwing a bowl of miscellaneous scraps to the raccoons is not good enough. We got to properly move the camera. We've got to properly light the raccoon dining area. You know, they've got to have nice ambiance while they're chowing down on that bowl of delicious cuisine. Mmm. So got to be considerate. So we got to keep the lighting at a minimum. You know, we don't want to blind the raccoons, but we want them to have a nice ambiance while they're enjoying their quality cuisine. So let's go ahead and move this camera over. I'm gonna put my beverage down. We'll move this over here, man. Let's see. Let me get this camera. And I'll bring a chair over there to sit the laptop on because I won't scratch it up. We're going on a trip. Field trip, y'all. Mm-hmm. To the raccoon dining area. George Cooney and crew. Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. Okay, now let's see if we can reposition this. Ah. Oh, here we go. We've got the bowl in there. We got, now let's see, let me zoom. And I can zoom in. So as we get raccoon activity, we can reposition it. There's wind. You can see the wind is blowing the foliage. Let me move a chair over here to sit the laptop on. Because we don't want the laptop to fall off the mountain. Here at the Appalachian Ocean, we don't want a laptop falling off the mountain, man. Wouldn't be good. No laptop. Okay, so we're going to move this up here. There we go. Let me get proper lighting here. Let me see where I am. Okay, so that is going to be the optimal raccoon feeding location. You can see the solar LED lighting. I'm going to give you a quick view of what's down there. So see, there you go. There's the top of the mountain where the raccoons are going to come up. They can come up down there. And they could eat anywhere down this area. Wherever they eat, I'm going to put the camera there so you can see them. So let's go ahead and let's get started here. As I mentioned, the bowl of miscellaneous scraps. That's what they're going to enjoy. Let's go ahead and throw this down. George Cooney and crew, here comes 1, 2, 3. Oh, food's delivered. Come on. Come on down. I set this bowl over here. They're going to be running up any second. Put this bowl over here. We're going to reposition the camera. Where are y'all, man? Come on. Food's ready. Food is ready. You got an active audience. You even had Niner send a super chat, a very generous super chat, I must add, of $9.99 US dollars. And y'all are here at the Appalachian Ocean, so y'all need to come out and show your appreciation of Niner's super chat. Come on out. I'll turn the light off. I'll let y'all come out, and then I'll turn the light back on. SoCal Seth, ahoy IrixGuy, ahoy SoCal Seth, welcome aboard, sir. Good to have you here. SoCal Seth, if you don't know, another long time and loyal supporter of the channel, deeply appreciated. I heard some activity. Is that a raccoon? Is that a fox? Is that a yeti? Is that a gopher? Is that a wildcat? What's coming up the mountain, y'all? We're gonna wait just a minute because I'm gonna turn this light on when it gets in frame, but I don't want to scare the animal off. There's a lot of wind, so you know that can kind of trick the eye and make one think that there's something really big approaching. Now, if there is, I may have to retreat, but you know, hopefully that won't be the case. Hopefully we just got raccoons coming up the mountain. And then Niner says, got another timepieces for tomorrow that I need opinion on. I'll send you an email. That's awesome. Timepieces for tomorrow is a very huge component of IrixGuy's Adventure Channel. We talk about wristwatches, anything mechanical or automatic. That's what it's all about. So Niner, I look forward to that email. And, you know, like always, I'm not going to, you know, it may be something that I push out pretty quickly, or it may take me a few days or a week or so to put together the proper response. Now, the last Niner's last acquisition, or the last one he emailed me about, the Parmigiani Tonda, that was pretty interesting because when that one came out, there was a raccoon in a tree, and the raccoon actually provided feedback too. SoCal says, is it Sax Squatch? It could be. Now, I'm concerned. I'm concerned because the amount of food that I dropped down for George Cooney and crew. George Cooney nor crew have come out yet. So that is a little bit concerning because there's the top of the mountain right there. See that rock? They climb up that mountain like a boss. And they haven't climbed up the mountain yet. And they're not afraid of me because they know who I am and they know who y'all are. I mean, they watch, you know, raccoons have cellular service too. You know, they're down there with their smartphones watching the live stream, and I don't know why they haven't climbed up the mountain yet to eat their cuisine. It's a little bit concerning. Look at that, the rails. That's kind of creepy, man. I'm doing the flashlight on the rails. Whee! Give y'all some cinematography tricks while we wait for George Cooney and crew. They will be here. I mean, they're not going to skip dinner. They're raccoons, man. They like to eat, and they don't want to go to a dumpster and dumpster dive. They want to eat this quality cuisine that was just personally delivered to them. SoCal says, what do you think of the new Tag Heuer Herrera? Honestly, and I don't, I'm going to give you my unfiltered opinion. So let me flip my burgers first. I'll be right back. So I personally don't think there's anything wrong with Tag Heuer. I think it's a very nice wristwatch brand. Now, back in the days, back in the 80s, Tag Heuer was really, really hot, very popular. And it's like a lot of brands, a lot of wristwatch manufacturers. I mean, they come into the spotlight. Panerai is a prime example of that. Panerai actually was to the level of even becoming more popular than Rolex for a while, and then they kind of lost their whatever you want to call it. Brad Henderson, hey Irix, Brad, welcome aboard. Which drone you flying now, Brad? Good to have you, Brad. Another longtime viewer of the channel and subscriber of the channel, deeply appreciated. But yeah, I don't think there's anything. SoCal Seth, I don't think there's anything wrong with Tag Heuer. I think that if you're buying one, and if you're buying it from an authorized dealer, you're negotiating a discount. You definitely need to negotiate a discount. But I think even if you buy a Tag Heuer at an authorized dealer, if you're getting a decent discount, I don't think it's a bad acquisition. Now, if you're looking for potential value retention, it's probably not something that's going to retain its value as well as, say, a Rolex or a Patek Philippe. But it is something that could potentially appreciate. The Carrera is a very desirable Tag Heuer reference. So there's, you're doing the right thing there. There are some tags that I wouldn't touch, even for a huge discount. But I think the Carrera is an acceptable option. Niner says, Tag is interesting. Lots of heritage. Curious to see how their repositioning works out. The 3X 70mm camera is amazing on it. Talking about the Air 3. Yeah, Mavic Air 3 is a nice drone. The new Tag Carrera has a tourbillon in blue. I love the design of it. Yeah, they've done a good job. I tell you who's done, and this is this is probably, I would say, a tier below Tag, but kind of a similar example of Tag, and that would be Longines. Longines has really released what I feel are some very solid pieces, especially if you look at the GMT that Longines has recently released. I think that's a very, very nice looking piece for extremely nice price, especially if you negotiate a discount at your AD, your authorized dealer, or if you're buying on the secondary market. If I was in the market for Tag, I think I would be looking at Longines instead of Tag, and that's just personal preference. Flipping the burgers. But yeah, Niner, the Zulu. Yep, the Zulu is the GMT I'm talking about. I think that piece is phenomenally well executed, and I haven't seen one in the flesh. I haven't been in. I go to the Caribbean for my acquisitions, and I haven't been an authorized dealer for a while. But I think the Zulu time, it's phenomenal looking. I think it's something that if Longines, if they follow that formula, I think they can really put themselves back into the spotlight, because they're historically, if you're not familiar with Longines, they were a very well-respected wristwatch manufacturer, and then they kind of went funky. And I mean, another example of a wristwatch brand that went funky was Tudor. You know, Tudor was Hans Wilsdorf Foundation. That's Rolex and Tudor. Hans Wilsdorf, and not to misquote, but essentially said that, you know, he was wanting to create a more approachable Rolex, and that's why I created the Tudor brand. Well, in its infancy, Tudor was great. They had the Tudor Submariner. They had some other examples that were very nice tool watches. And then Tudor went kind of really weird. And then it wasn't until they released the Black Bay that Tudor, in my opinion, got back into the formula for success. And even though I didn't like the original Black Bay, I felt that it kind of wore like a hockey puck on the wrist. I do like the Black Bay 58. And even though it's larger, I do like the Black Bay Chrono. And there's several Tudor pieces that, you know, I think Tudor's doing a really good job. And I think that Tudor is positioned, and they already are actually, to become the entry level Rolex, because ultimately for the masses, there's not an entry level Rolex anymore. I mean, even when you're looking at the Oyster Perpetuals, I mean, Rolex has priced themselves out of reach for most people. So Tudor is the new entry level Rolex. And I'm saying there's probably going to be a tertiary brand that the Hans Wilsdorf Foundation will release, because Tudor is now as upscale as Rolex once was. So they need a third tier. They need an entry level tier, because Tudor is no longer truly an entry level tier. Unless you're dealing with the Tudor references that are undesirable, in my opinion, you're not going to get into Tudor on the cheap. You know, you're gonna be putting some coin that way. And then Niner says Longines has tons of heritage, no doubt, and it's not fake heritage. And then Niner says Tudor is taking over the world. Yeah, I mean, I think Tudor has plenty of room for growth. And I mean, even if they weren't the sister brand of Rolex, even if they weren't, they've still got a good design formula right now. But the fact that they're the sister brand of Rolex, they're only going to continue to go up. And one thing that Rolex in particular has done, and this is the same case for Tudor, is that they have been adamant about annual increases. If it's not every year, it's every few years or so. So if one chooses to buy a Rolex or a Tudor, with Rolex, pretty much any reference. With Tudor, if you're sticking with the Black Bay, you're probably pretty safe. It's probably something that probably over time, nothing is guaranteed, but it'll likely appreciate in value. And that's just due to the fact that, they do have those increases, not necessarily every year, but most years they have an annual increase. So it's something that you can buy and have a better sense of possibility of it potentially retaining its value or potentially appreciating. Now, that's really the case when you're dealing with Rolex and Patek Philippe. I mean, you buy those, you buy pretty much any reference, it's typically a good thing. Now, I'm not a wristwatch investor. I like to wear my wristwatches, but if you're acquiring something, taking that into account is always nice, because if you ever, maybe you just got to get out of Dodge, you got to, SHTF, you just got to leave and you got to go somewhere. It'd be nice to have wristwatches that were very liquid. And I'm not saying don't let the potential liquidity of a wristwatch influence your purchase decision, but it always is nice if it's something you want anyway. If there's the potential for enhanced liquidity, that's often a value add in that purchase decision. And I'm saying that because I'm not trying to bash Tag Heuer. We all have our preferences. If I was looking at Tag, I would be going with Longines instead, but that's my own personal opinion. And like I said, I'm not bashing Tag Heuer. It's just not my thing. We've all got our things that we like. I would preference Tudor over Tag for sure. I definitely would. Tudor and Longines both. I don't know where George Cooney is. I'm concerned. If he comes out, we're going to reposition the camera. Let me get it back to where we are, though. because this is let's see, we're moving this back over here. Okay, so Niner says SoCal says Rolex had gone the way of Ferrari, where they would try pre-qualify you enough to be in the club. I can't stand that kind of business. Hey, I'm with you, SoCal Seth. And the last Rolex that I bought was in the authorized dealer back when I could negotiate a substantial discount. So that was, that was nice. And it was kind of cool. Niner says, traded my Black Bay in to offset the cost of my wife's Rolex Datejust. Good purchase decision there. Very, very nice. Niner says, speaking of which, marriage maintenance time, fellas. You know what? That's funny you say that because I got my wife in there. She's knocking on the glass. She's like, what are you doing? I'm like, well, duh, I'm doing a live stream. I'm doing IrixGuy's live show, and I'm grilling steak burgers. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. Brad, I actually am flying drones a lot, and actually tomorrow I'm spending an entire day in the field with DJI Mini 4 Pro. Stay tuned for tons of DJI Mini 4 Pro videos tomorrow. So thank you all for tuning in. Thanks for the support. The super chat, Niner, awesome. And I look forward to your email about your new wristwatch acquisition, because I definitely look forward to filming and posting a timepieces for tomorrow video response to your acquisition. So that's very cool. Thanks, everyone. I'm going to wrap this baby up, and I will see you all in the next live stream.